Hello, everyone. As you know, my name is Zenzi Sewa, and today on Spiritual Infinity, my guest is Dr. Crystal T. Harrell, and she does many things. She's in the East Coast of America in Virginia, and she's a holistic health specialist, as I said, as well as so many other things. But I'm going to leave her to talk about those things and bring them all up. And as you know, my program is about how we all connected to our spiritual awareness, how we woken up, what happened. And it generally starts in childhood. And it's letting you all know that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. There's a lot of us. And hopefully my guests will resonate with you, so that if you need help or if you want more information, you've got some knowledge of how to reach out to them. So with any further ado, let me introduce my guest, Dr. Crystal T. Harrell. Crystal, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Zenzi.
No, it's thank you for wanting to come on and share your journey and let others know that they're not alone. As we all talking, we're living in I call it magical times, yet they're trying times. Some people say, oh God, it's not magical, it's horrible. But actually it's a magical time for the human race, for mankind, because we are evolving. But you need to understand that what you're going through and how to handle it, because we are spiritual beings with a physical body having a human experience. And we shouldn't really be here, but we are. And so our journey goes on. So Crystal, share your journey with us, please.
Yeah, so wow, I appreciate this space so much, because it's always a blessing to be able to sit down and share the journey of becoming. I call it the journey of self-discovery. I wrote about this in my first book because I wanted to. So I'm a certified academic success coach. So I've spent the last 11 years in school pursuing my doctorate. And I graduated last year. So I'm still kind of fresh into the career or the job market kind of space. So I'm learning how to navigate that. But education-wise, like navigating the higher educational system was something I spent a lot of time doing, and a lot of time I spent coaching other students through. But my journey started in rural Alabama. So it's a southern state in the United States. I was born, I'm the seventh born child of 10 children. So my parents had 10 children together. They were both in the church. They were both pastors.
You weren't watching a lot of television then, were you?
No, actually, we didn't even have cable. We had 3 channels.
Those are the days TV didn't exist.
No, we had 3 channels, and my dad put a lock on the TV to keep us from watching those 3 channels. So no, I grew up in a very strict household. We did not have the TV. We didn't watch TV, I'll say. If we were bored, my dad would always say, go read or go outside and play. So yeah, I was raised by boomers.
No, it's good, because going out and play, you're looking at the life, you're being present, you're being creative. What children are not really, they're just stuck.
That's true.
Tablet, which is so sad.
It really is.
Please continue.
No, you have an excellent point. I think my dad was just very aware of the way that TV kind of programmed us, and he was very much a radical. I was very young when my father passed away, so my childhood was very open, very free. I consider myself a creative child. My dad was a musician. He taught all of my siblings how to read and write music. He taught them how to play instruments, but I was the dancer and the singer. So and the artist. So I expressed my musicality in different ways. But he loved music, and he loved teaching music, and he loved teaching. And my dad was my first educator, and he taught me how to read and write before I started school. So I could read and write my name while I was in kindergarten. And I loved education. It was always something that I connected with my dad with. But when I was 11, he died from leukemia. And that was really the catalyst to my spiritual awakening, because I had a lot of questions and my mind wasn't developed enough to fully understand what was happening. One second. My mind wasn't fully developed to understand what was happening. And so that kind of sparked this, this journey of trying to find the truth about what happened, because one day my dad was there and then one day he wasn't. And that was very confusing.
So what happened from there onwards?
So I would say from about 11. So immediately when my dad passed away, no one talked about it in the house. So I grew up, like I mentioned, a very Christian household, very religious household. And we didn't really talk about sickness, and we didn't talk about death. It was just something that was just kind of taboo. And so when my dad passed away, the only thing my mom said about it was everything your dad says still stands. There was no kind of, like, we didn't, receive counseling. Like, as you can imagine, watching a parent die from a terminal illness is very traumatic. And so I guess from about 11 to, I would say, until I was like 20, 25, 26, I dealt with anxiety, depression. I started having panic attacks after my dad died. So I didn't know what was happening. I just couldn't stop hyperventilating. Like, they would just hit while I was in school. And I would have to go to the nurse's office, and then my mom would have to come pick me up. And I didn't know what was going on in my body. I didn't know what panic attacks were, what anxiety attacks were. So I dealt with that up until, like I said, about 5 years ago, I had my last one. And so when I was 23, I had this realization, because I was at the lowest point in my life after dealing with all of that trauma and just trying to figure out what was happening and trying to find answers. I ended up getting very, like, I guess they would call it your dark night of the soul. So I got to a very low place where I just didn't want to be on earth anymore. I was in so much pain internally, but everything on the outside looked fine. But that's usually the type of people that you have to check on, the ones that do not show what's going on beneath the surface, that are always smiling, that always seem like they have everything figured out. Yeah. And I was that person. And so when I was 23, I recognized that my thoughts were, they were not like me. So I kept having thoughts about not wanting to be here. And I remember when I had this last thought, I could see the thought cross my mind. So I saw the separation between me, the observer, and the thought that was crossing my mind about not wanting to be here on earth anymore. And I remember thinking, like, that's not me, because I remember myself as a child. I remember how happy I was, how open I was towards life. I remember how creative I felt, how exciting life felt. And that all happened before the death of my father. So I wanted to know, at that point in my life, was it possible to get back to my natural essence, my childlike essence? I didn't know if it was possible, but I knew that I had to try something, because I was not going to live the rest of my life looking through life through the lens of a traumatized child, because it was impacting. I could see how it was impacting every decision I made, my relationships, what type of what I was studying in school, how I was studying in school. So wanting to always overachieve, wanting to be seen and appreciated for what I do, and not so much about who I am. I could see how people pleasing started to come out of that. So there were a lot of things, a lot of patterns in my behavior that I was noticing was impacted by that traumatic event. And I wanted to know, could I change? Could I truly be transformed? And 7 years later, I can honestly say that was I'm grateful for that decision, because I no longer have panic attacks, no longer have depression. Anxiety doesn't live in my body. I feel anxious sometimes, like before an interview, I get nervous, but no, yeah, but no, it's a totally different experience now.
No, oh my gosh. Yeah. And to know you went through that from the age of 11 up to 23, you're looking at a span of 12 years.
Yeah.
And not being able to talk about it and keeping it in and just being, because this is society, although it's changing now, that you don't talk about certain things. You don't talk about death. That's how it is. And you don't talk about somebody dying, or if you're sick. And I still find that sometimes today, when people are ill, they try to cover it up.
Conceal it, yeah.
And it's not good, but
no. Because it leaves more, it causes a lot more confusion for the people who are in your lives. But I can see how that can be also terrifying for the person experiencing it. Like, maybe they don't have the tools to know how to talk about their illness or their sickness. So it's scary for everyone involved, I know.
Yeah. So here you were for 12 years, had to handle this. And what actually, I know you said you started to ask, how can I change this?
Yeah.
What made you ask that question? What was it that brought you to that point that you thought, this has to stop? I need to change?
I just remembered myself as a child. It was my inner child that really kind of guided me back home to myself, because I remembered her. I remember that feeling of just having this love towards life, like this innate type of, wow, like life is exciting. Like I have my dad here. I have, so much going for me because my dad is here. I feel safe in my environment. Oh, sorry. Why are you getting so many calls? That's strange.
It's okay.
My apologies.
Okay. Do you know something? I was going to stop it. But I said, no, this is life. Because nowadays, in a nice studio and it's all nice. We're at home, we're talking one-to-one and things happen. Yeah. This is life. So now let's continue. It's okay.
Yeah, so it's strange because I wasn't getting any calls before this interview, and it's just like now it's like there's so much happening. But yeah, I guess I just remembered myself, and I knew that who I was at that point in my life at 23, being that depressed, feeling that separated, feeling that disconnected from life was not me. I knew it, and I wanted to know, could I get back to me?
Okay, and at this time, what was going on in your family? Your mother's there. When you made this decision, were you able to talk to them about it or do anything, to say, right? Or you then had to start this journey on your own?
I definitely feel like I started it on my own, because I don't think my siblings, my mom didn't I didn't tell her that I was, getting mental health counseling when I was in college, or that I was even going through this dark phase of my life. I think some of my sisters saw it because, they would come visit me on, breaks, or I would go see them, and they could tell that something was off. It was my older sister, April, who told me during that time. She was like, I could tell that you were spiraling. So I think it was something I definitely didn't talk about, but if you were close enough, I'm pretty sure you could see it. Yeah. And I just knew that this was going to have to be a journey I took on my own, because no one was living in my awareness. No one was feeling the feelings that I was feeling. I didn't have the words to articulate what I was going through. But now that I'm, like I said, it's been 7 years now, I can see the effects that going on that journey has caused, because it even led me out of the country. Like I lived overseas for about 4 years, traveling, living in Bali, Thailand, doing spiritual healing there as well. So I can see how that impacted my family, because now my other sister left the country and she lived where I live. So it's a ripple effect when you take that journey inward.
So what I'm hearing is that although there's some of your siblings could recognize the signs, were they going through that in their own way and not talking about it?
Yeah, so all my siblings expressed the grief of losing my dad in different ways. For me, I kind of went internal. Like I kind of, I started disassociating and started to really just become more quiet and more shy, more reserved, I guess. And I just poured myself into my academics, kind of like as a way to escape. I had another sister who, she turned to drugs and alcohol and substance abuse. And so that was hard to watch. And then I had another sister who went through a string of relationships, and there's no right way to grieve. There's no one can tell you how to deal with the death of a loved one, especially a father who was very present in our lives. And then one day he was gone. Yeah. So it was, us expressing grief in different ways, because even though it's 10 of us and we grew up together, we're very different. So it was, I could see how we all express that grief in different ways.
Okay. So now at 23, you starting your journey of change, of healing. So what was the first steps you took towards that healing?
The first thing, I guess, it's crazy because it started happening organically. Like as I started to take, I think it was Rumi who says, as you start to walk on the way appears. So it was like, first I made that first intention to start changing, and then opportunities started to align. So I got accepted into a program outside of my home state. So I got accepted into a grad school program in Washington, D.C. And then that caused me to move to a new environment where I was surrounded by new energy, new friends. And that healing that took place during that time was so immense. I connected with a hypnotherapist who really helped me get to the subconscious kind of when you experience something traumatic, it doesn't just have a conscious effect on you. It has a very subconscious, bodily, cellular level effect on you. And I needed help getting to that because I had been doing talk therapy for years while in school. And I just needed something a little bit more intense, I'll say. And so I was able to connect with a therapist there. And so it was just like this whole experience started to shape around my intention to change. And then from there, I got accepted into Yale. And then because this was during the pandemic, I was able to go to classes online and work from anywhere, essentially. So I started studying abroad and living in places like Bali. And that was an even deeper healing experience because I was out of the country now. So it's just like, it's hard to explain, I guess. But to be honest, as I reflect, like things just started to order themselves around that healing experience. So everybody's path is different, but I think that the commonality in that is the intention to heal, the intention to change.
You're absolutely correct. Once, as you said, once you made the decision that this is not right, I want to change, I must change. And as you say, when that decision comes, the way starts to open up for you. And it's surprising that you've gone to Thailand and Bali, and I've been there, and I know the atmosphere.
It's different.
I went to Thailand last year, which is like, but there's just something about Bali.
That Bali is my heart.
Oh, you know, you said that. As I said, I went to Thailand the year before I went to Bali, and I like Thailand, but there's something about Bali and the people and the atmosphere. Just the energy, so calming, down to earth. We are energy, so we are energy. Everything is energy.
Everything.
To that. So your spiritual side led you to where you needed to be to help you to make those changes.
Beautifully said.
I understand you because I felt it and I've been there and I understand you. So how long, I mean, when you went there, what things did you do to help yourself heal? As I say, it is healing, you can feel it. But did you meet up with people or did you find a teacher? You know, what happened when you're in those places?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right about the energy of Bali. I lived in Ubud, which is the heart of the island. It actually means medicine. I didn't know that, but that's where my healing happened because because of Bali and because of that experience. I always say that I truly believe that your deepest healing comes through relationships, comes through connection with other beings, other spiritual beings, having a human experience like we all are. And I just started to connect with my community. I started to meet people from different religious, spiritual backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, but somehow we felt like family. I recognized them at a soul level. I started to do open mic night and I started expressing my creativity more. I started to feel safer in my body because Bali is so safe. Like, and this was during the pandemic. So I basically had the island to myself. Like there was just no one, like it was just me and the locals.
Absolutely lovely.
It was a very unique experience. And I also connected with my soulmate, my current boyfriend. And it was that in itself was so healing because for the first time in my life, I was in a quote unquote adult relationship and I was in a healthy relationship. And so he basically held the mirror for me so that I could further fix myself because I was holding on to a lot of fear surrounding relationships, surrounding being hurt. And that's a whole nother different segment in and of itself. But essentially, he gave me the safe space I needed to heal my heart. And no, you don't need to heal. Like there's so much work you can do as an individual. But I think the deepest healing comes through relationship. It comes through community. And sometimes you need people to really hold a mirror for you as you fix yourself. So
Yes.
that was a deep healing that I needed. And still going through, right?
Yeah.
Still on that path.
Yeah, it's not, oh, it's done. No.
No.
It's what you've done this bit, now you go on to this bit, now you go on to this, and it's a gradual cleaning and healing and raising and letting go.
Yes.
And surfacing and coming up. It's like a big weight, and you chip away it bit by bit. And as you chip away from that anchor, you become lighter, and you raise, you rise, you rise. And that's what life is all about, really. It's chipping away at those things that are keeping you down, that are making you not whole.
Yes.
I can put it in that way, because you are whole, but
yes, I know exactly what you mean.
You can rise. So so from then, what did you do?
I kept, so once I connected with Tony, my boyfriend at the time, and still is, but once I connected with him, we just started traveling all over. We went to Thailand, Vietnam. He took me to Germany to meet family. And oh my God, the way they embraced me, it was very strange for me, because when he and I first met, I didn't recognize that someone could really love you unconditionally, like just love you because of who you are. Like, he didn't expect anything from me but for me to be vulnerable. And that was hard, because when you've been hurt, when you're closed off to love, to life, the last thing you want to do is open your heart to someone. Yes. Because you don't know if they're going to hurt you or not. And you really do have to trust that even if it does happen, that you have the tools to heal, to rebuild. So he was asking for me to be vulnerable. And I didn't understand that, because I thought, how can you just be so free with your heart? How can you just love? Like you must have never been hurt before. And when he took me to meet his family, I saw why he was that way. He was raised in so much love. His parents are just the most loving human beings I've ever met in my life. And I've been around them for 4.5 years, and it has not changed. We spent weeks together, and they are who they are. They just, anytime, like when he comes home, their face light up. They're so loving. They're like, oh, you can stay here as long as you want. Even with me, they treat me like I'm their daughter. And they're happy because they see that he's happy. And it's so beautiful to see parents just love the fact and be happy that the fact that their child is so happy and so at peace. And I think that was a beautiful reflection to see. And they spend pretty much every weekend together. So I was able to just see a different way of family life, and my awareness was expanded in that. So I would say, yeah, we've pretty much just been traveling around since then, but I've come back to the US to build our business. And that's been a whole nother spiritual journey in and of itself. So.
So, okay, let's go. So you've done the Bali, you've done the Thailand, you've met this wonderful human being who, and the two of you are traveling around. I take it that he too has been hurt, and he too has been looking. So therefore, the two of you were able to support one another.
Yes. And
do that traveling. And that's nice, because you're not alone. You've got another healing and seeing certain things. And I suppose the same way he could hold up a mirror to you, because you can see, well, this is not right. Did you do the same for him?
He said that I help him be more free in life and not be, because he's German, and anyone who knows Germans, they have to have like a 5-10 year plan. They're very strategic, very spontaneous, doesn't exist for them. And so like but as an American, that's my whole, like, I was raised in that, like, you're like, oh yeah, we'll see about, I'll go there. But like for Germans, it's like, no, will you be there or will you not? And so he said that I helped him make faster decisions instead of trying to get everything perfect or make everything so perfect. He said that I helped him grow his business in that way, and just being more carefree in life. And so that's what he told me, and I can see the changes, because he's definitely less German. He's still very German, but he's less German than he was before.
More spontaneous. He's more relaxed.
Yeah, let's say that, more relaxed.
So you've gone through this, and he's helped you to come out, to heal,
Yeah.
to face yourself, and to change those things within you. So you've gone through, traveled around, and you're quite right in saying that we do need community.
Yes.
Because even you've got your partner, but you still need those people around you. And generally, when you're going through that, the universe will bring you into the right people to help you, because that is the time we're in now, where we need communities to give us that support, to show us that, well, no, maybe look at it this way. And that is how life is supposed to live, not in isolation, but with a lovely community.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because my whole life I felt like I was isolated. Even though I'm one of 10, I still I was that shy child that was kind of off in the corner, kind of doing their own thing. And so when my dad died, I kind of became more isolated. But so I graduated 2024 of May, and from that time up until earlier this spring, I was living with family while we built our company. So I was forced to be around. It's funny because life kind of brought that full circle for me. And I never felt so connected to my sisters and brothers and my family like I did in this past year. Like, that was a whole nother level of healing, because I was different. So I was able to bring a different energy to my living situation, and say, I'm grateful that I have siblings that I can rely on. And just seeing my siblings' children be so free, and they're doing everything for their children that we didn't have the chance to have exposure to. That was just so healing to see. And I love my family now, and we talk pretty much every day. So there was a lot happening, but you're right. Like, community is the most important thing. And I can honestly say that was the theme for this past year, was just reconnecting with community.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I liked when you said that your siblings now have their children, and they are doing things for their children that they probably didn't have. Because sometimes when you didn't have it, you tend to perpetuate the same thing. And you have to be strong to say, no, this is not right. I didn't like this, has to change. And you make that change for your own children. Because it's the two ways. You can either perpetuate the same thing, and that's when you say generational drama and trauma, or you can say, no, it has to stop here and do things differently.
Yes, I agree.
So I think you can say, looking at your siblings, probably individually, they've gone through things and they've realized it as well.
I was just thinking that
generational trauma going on. So you come from a pretty strong family, you know.
Oh yeah, I definitely get that from my mom's side of the family. They are a generation of warriors. They've been through a lot.
Yeah, you know, because as you said earlier on that each one of your siblings have taken it in different ways. Some have gone to drugs, some have the relationship with different men, blah 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 blah. But it would seem that as they've gone through that, they come to the light and said, no, this has to stop.
Yes.
At least some of them, you know. And so when they've had their children, they've recognized it, and they are also trying to stop this from being a generational thing and going on.
Absolutely.
This is why I say that you come from pretty strong stock.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot too. Like my siblings, my older sisters and I, we say that we feel that each of us had a different generational trauma to heal within ourselves. And so all of us individually got our own separate ones that we were strong enough to work through.
Well, you see, I said that, and now you've confirmed that, because earlier on you were saying in your family you didn't talk about certain things and you didn't do this, and you stood back. But here you are, fast forward, and you are talking, and what has come out is that they've noticed it as well. And that's had to do. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
This is why I say you come from strong stock, because they've had to go through, and they had to work through. And as I said, you can do one or two things: continue sliding down and carry it from generation to generation, or stop. So it's wonderful. It's awesome. Now you're having that conversation, and you're talking, which you didn't do in the past.
That's true.
Together talking, and you're sharing, and you're realizing that, you know, each one of you did something, was affected by it, but you've had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And pat on the shoulder, you all seem to be doing very well. And that's
Wow.
wonderful that you're talking.
I appreciate that reflection, because I guess I didn't think about the fact that, yeah, we did go from not talking about it to now having conversations about it.
You see?
Yeah.
Yes, that's brilliant. Strong stock, girl, strong stock. So now, what are you doing? So you've come through, and I've heard you say you've come now with your partner, and you're setting up a business. Come on, let's see where this has all led you to this present day.
Yeah. So we're still building the company together. So the name of the company is Seven Sisters & Co. And it's named after the 7 girls. So my mom had 7 girls and 3 boys. And so we named our company after the women in our family. And it's basically a tribute to our ancestors and who we are as women, because we found out that our great grandfather he was actually a successful businessman during the Reconstruction era in the United States here in the South. So he owned over 111 acres of land, and he was a farmer. So he had his own farming business. He hired family members, and that land is still in the family today. And so it's so cool seeing how our bloodline has still shown through after all these years, because now we're bringing back, because we use herbs in our products, and we use plant-based, like everything is plant-based. So we brought back that kind of agricultural essence of who we are, and we built something that our family can sustain for generations.
So now you said something, but you need to say a little bit more. You use herbs in your products. What products is this business dealing with?
Yeah, so we sell hair and skin products. So one of my sisters, Shanika, she is a licensed esthetician and cosmetologist, an actual master cosmetologist. So she's been doing this for about 20 years. She's also a celebrity hairstylist. And so this is something she's been doing for a long time. And so she started making products for my other sister, April, who was dealing with excessive shedding and balding because of stress, because your nervous system is actually tied to your hair. And so she was dealing with like a lot of stress going through, like I said, on her own healing journey. And so her hair started to come out. So my sister, Shanika, created this plant-based herb. So she infused the herbs into an oil blend. And we used the traditional method, which is the cold infusion, where you let it steep for a period of weeks instead of just boiling it, because you retain a lot of the plant properties that way.
Right. Yes.
And so she was doing that for her when she was in the States. And then I was dealing with shedding while I was in grad school, because I was stressed out and my hair started to come out in clumps, and I was just freaking out. But I remember that one of my other sisters used herbs to retain her shed, or to reduce her shedding. So she used green tea. And so I was just, making my own products while I was traveling and finishing school, because it's very difficult to get, Black hair products in Thailand and Bali. So I just started to make my own. And so it grew my hair out. And now we basically, when I came back to the States, my sisters and I kind of just, we came together and was like, let's just do this for other women, because people kept asking me, what do I use on my hair? And I was just like, okay, I make my own products and I'll sell it. I'll share it with you.
So this company is called Seven Sisters?
Yes, Seven Sisters & Company.
Seven Sisters & Company. Beautiful. So has it started to produce these things as yet?
Yeah, so basically our first year will be next month on the 1st. We will have a full year, and we pretty much already broken even. So our startup, basically the amount of money it costs for us to start up, we've surpassed that in revenue, which is exciting, but we're still in the building phase. So there's a lot about business systems and operations that we're still implementing, especially when it comes to marketing and getting our voice out there, because we know that our products work. We have a lot of repeat customers. We have 4.8 out of 5 stars. So we got a 3-star review, because basically the lids for our products, like we're still working with trying to find good lids for those, because sometimes when they're shipping, even though we put fragile, they throw them, and then the lid broke. And so she was just like, the products were great, but my lid came broken. So she left the 3-star review, and we just sent her a brand new one for free. And we were just like, sorry about that. Like, you know, so that's something we're working on now, just getting customer feedback, trying to make sure that we're delivering the best possible customer experience, because we know it works. We're just trying to figure out how to get our brand voice out there, how to market it.
Well done. Well done. So here you are going through all that trauma, finding your spirituality, healing yourself, and not knowing that your sisters are going through the same thing. Now you've found this lovely partner who's helped you on that journey, and you've helped him to come back to the States. And now, I wouldn't say fully healed, because, and I don't think it's horrible, it is, there's other things
Always.
but you've come such a long way. And because, as I said, we're not supposed to be here, but because we're here going through our own journey.
Yes.
Here you are with your family, with this wonderful company making these lovely products for Afro-Caribbean hair, and it's going well.
Yes.
What else are you, is this the main thing you're doing, or are there other things you're also doing?
So this is the main business that I've been working on, but I'm also a certified academic success coach. So I help students also navigate higher ed. And that's something I guess I've kind of put on the back burner a little bit. I still have office hours for students once a month. It's where they can come in and ask me anything. But I truly want to focus on Seven Sisters, because the potential is so great there. And I don't want to lose momentum with that company. And so that's why I've been kind of putting my heart into that. And it's something I love doing. I love working on business operations. I love building the creative aspect. Like, I worked on the website for months before we launched, and just collaborating with my sisters. Like, our business calls are like sister time, and it's like really cool because we talk about business, but we also joke around. So it's like I get to be in business with women whom I love and who love me. And so it's just like, it's a beautiful opportunity to really do work and do career in a different way, and use my research in community health to help build our brand as well.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So, from that pain coming through to now joining up with your family, speaking, communicating, and now all the girls coming together to build such a wonderful thing, because it's needed within the Black community.
Yes.
Trust me, it is very much needed, and not just in America, but all over. And I really do wish you well with that. So before I say goodbye to you, can you leave us with some gold nugget of encouragement, or something you can say to our viewers about your journey that can encourage them along their way?
Yeah, so I love this question, and I think it ties very well to what you said before we started recording about just helping listeners understand that they're not alone. And for a long time, at least that's been a major pain point for me, is feeling like I was by myself. That I had to go on this journey all alone, that I had to heal by myself, that I had to carry the cross by myself. But there is so much support for you. There's so much healing available for you, but it starts with the intention. It starts with the intention to become your highest self incarnate, to become the embodiment of your highest calling in life. And then the right people will come to you, the right resources. As you start asking questions, those answers come to you as well. And it's so beautiful how life is always seeking wholeness. Life is always seeking healing. But it starts with us making that intention and commitment to actually walk in our wholeness, to walk in our truth. Once you start there, that's the beginning of a beautiful journey.
Okay, thank you. As you were talking, what I was getting, something I didn't do and I need to do it now, is you went through your journey of healing. What were the things you did for that healing? There are several different things all over the world we can use, and each one of us must find what suits us. What actual things did you do? Meditation, talking, you know, you did. I know you did hypnotherapy, and so what were the things you used to help you?
Yeah, so there were definitely a myriad of practices and experiences that kind of aided that healing experience. Some more extreme than others. Like the most extreme thing was buying a one-way ticket out of the US to Bali and not knowing anyone and not knowing where I was going to live, but just trusting that I was being led there for a reason.
Trusting that inner voice.
It was so loud and so undeniable that I had to be there. And I saw it in a vision. I saw myself living in a jungle, and I didn't know any jungles anywhere, but I did some research, and then Bali showed up. I didn't know anything about it, but as soon as I saw the name Bali, I knew I had to be there. And so I did more research, connected with a few people who had made that move, and then I just decided that I was going to do it. So that was an extreme case, but out of that came the most profound healing. Because I was able to see myself not through the lens of being a Black woman living in the United States, but as me, as Crystal. Yeah, and that was a beautiful experience to have. And some of the less extreme practices I used was journaling. So I've journaled my whole life pretty much, but after losing my dad, I started to journal a little bit more, frequently, almost every day. And now I go back and I can read my journal entries. And that process of journaling is so healing because you get to mind dump, you get to actually put on paper what is going on internally, like what is that internal storm inside of you. And I think it creates space. I think it creates space for you to really hear your own voice, because a lot of the times we're consuming so much information, we're listening to other people. But when you're journaling, that's just you and your thoughts. That's just you and your truest essence. And I think journaling has been the most healing and the most therapeutic practice that I've used to help me in my healing journey. But there's so many others as well.
Yeah. Okay. Did you do meditation?
Mm-hmm.
You went to did you go to healing groups where you spoke?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, meditation. Walking meditation has been my favorite. So walking meditation is where you just start walking out in nature, no phone, no music, no phone calls, just you and nature. And I'll try to notice different things that I haven't noticed before, and I'll just be present with nature. Other things I started doing was just doing what my inner child loved doing, like drawing, dancing, speaking, doing singing. I just started to sign up for like open mic night and started connecting with my community that way. And you find that when you start doing things that you once loved doing, it creates this almost like spark within you where you're like, man, like I remember why I love doing that. And it connects you more with life. And so everybody is different. So I would say, think about what it is that you love doing when you were a child, and seek out different ways in your community to start exercising that. You don't have to pay, you don't have to do something extreme like, jump countries. But if you feel that your environment is not facilitating or aiding your spiritual growth, and you have that opportunity, I'd say if the opportunity is there, take it.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much, Crystal, for that. And to my viewers, as you watch my programs, each person finds a way of healing themselves, and they're there for you to all explore, because whilst we're all connected, yet we're all different, and we're all suffering from different things, and we need different types of healing depending on our own karma and what's going on. So please, I hope these programs have helped you, and to realize you are not alone. We've all been going through some kind of trauma, and we've got to realize that we are spiritual beings with a physical body having a human experience. And what we're doing is getting back to our spirituality, healing, because everything starts on the spiritual plane, and spirit is energy. And when your energy becomes imbalanced, that's when things go wrong. So our healing is about balancing our energy body, our energy self, so that it then flows through to our physical. So thank you for joining us today. I say thank you for Dr. Crystal T. Harrell for being with us. Crystal, I've enjoyed this talk with you and listening to your journey, and I know others have done as well. So for now, everybody, bye for now. Dr. Crystal, thank you once again, and bye to you all. Bye-bye, everyone.